Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to Al Jazeera, anti-immigrant protesters in Belfast, Northern Ireland, have set fire to vehicles and buildings following the arrest of a 30-year-old Sudanese man linked to a serious knife attack. The stabbing, which took place in North Belfast, left a man in his 40s with significant injuries to his eyes, face, and back. The suspect, who arrived in the UK on a 5-year visa in late 2023, has been charged with attempted murder. In the wake of the incident, hundreds of protesters, many masked, clashed in the streets, setting fire to a bus, cars, and a building near the city centre. Northern Ireland's First Minister Michelle O'Neill strongly condemned the violence, describing the acts of forcing families out of their homes as disgusting cowardice. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer also criticized the horrific violence and called for calm, urging the public to allow police to investigate. Tensions remain high across the UK, fueled by anti-immigration sentiments following other recent violent incidents. Political leaders and police officials have jointly appealed for peace and community safety. According to a report by the Asahi Shimbun, the Philippines has formally protested China's deployment of a floating structure staffed with personnel on the disputed Scarborough Shoal in the South China Sea. Philippine officials expressed deep concern that Beijing might be attempting to convert the uninhabited atoll into an artificial island military base, a tactic previously seen at Mischief Reef in the 1990s. Philippine Military Chief Gen. Romeo Bronner stated that the armed forces would not allow Scarborough Shoal to become another militarized island. Conversely, Beijing rejected Manila's concerns. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian asserted China's indisputable sovereignty over the shoal, referred to as Huangyan Island, and defended all actions there, including scientific research, as legitimate rights. This territorial dispute is part of wider tensions in the South China Sea, where China claims nearly the entire area despite a 2016 international arbitration ruling that invalidated its sweeping claims. The United States maintains a treaty obligation to defend the Philippines if its forces or vessels come under armed attack in these highly contested waters. According to a report by Thai Sounds, Japan's Ministry of Defense is set to submit its latest draft of the 2026 Defense White Paper, which explicitly designates China as Japan's most serious security concern. The document details several strategic challenges posed by China, including the deployment of an aircraft carrier in the Pacific and a radar lock-on incident involving Chinese military aircraft and Japan's Air Self-Defense Force fighters. In addition to China, the White Paper raises strong concerns over North Korea's nuclear and missile programs, labeling them a more severe and imminent threat. It also highlights North Korea's growing military cooperation with Russia. Relations between Tokyo and Beijing have deteriorated significantly, particularly after comments made by Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi regarding a potential Taiwan contingency, which provoked a strong backlash from China. Observers note that as China refrains from pressuring North Korea on denuclearization, security cooperation among Japan, South Korea, and the United States is expected to strengthen to counter regional threats. According to NHK, the U.S. space agency, NASA has announced plans to conduct critical docking tests in space in 2027, involving its main spacecraft and 2 privately developed lunar landers. This test flight, part of the U.S.-led Artemis International Lunar Exploration Project, will feature a primary crew consisting of 3 Americans and 1 Italian. During the mission in Earth's orbit, NASA's spacecraft will connect with a lunar lander provided by Blue Origin, followed by a separate docking with another provided by SpaceX. The crew will perform various checks and system tests. NASA emphasized that these docking tests are essential to achieving its goal of landing humans on the Moon in 2028, marking the first crewed lunar landing since the Apollo program. Despite a recent combustion test explosion of Blue Origin's new rocket in Florida, NASA officials expressed confidence that the rocket will be ready for the 2027 test flight. A NASA official stated that the mission is crucial for reducing risks in future crewed lunar missions and ensuring the United States successfully beats China back to the Moon. According to a report by Liberty Times, Elon Musk's aerospace company, SpaceX, is planning to deploy a preliminary demonstration system for space-based artificial intelligence computing by the end of 2027. This target is ahead of the 2028 at the earliest timeline originally disclosed in its initial public offering, IPO, filing. SpaceX executives recently briefed pre-IPO investors on this orbital computing roadmap, emphasizing the company's long-term vision for space AI infrastructure. In its IPO documents, SpaceX declared itself the only company with a commercially viable path to construct orbital AI computing at scale. To support this ambitious goal, the company has applied for regulatory approval to launch up to 1 million satellites dedicated to space data centers. Elon Musk stated that building orbital AI data centers is not a major engineering hurdle, as much of the necessary technology is already utilized in the Starlink network. The first-generation AI satellites are expected to use NVIDIA chips, delivering computing power comparable to an NVIDIA GB300 cabinet. However, the plan still faces challenges as the Starship rocket required for mass deployment is currently running years behind schedule. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.